Boise's odds over on FanDuel, and I'm sure other places too, but we like FanDuel here, official sportsbook of the Locked On Network. They are simply insane. So let's start with the conference championship odds. Boise is not just the favorite. They're a minus odds favorite to win the Mountain West. Now, do you hear that, Dan Mullen at UNLV? Do you hear that, Sean Lewis of San Diego State? Do you see the outright disrespect given to the rest of the Mountain West in its final iteration with these schools before everybody takes off? They think Boise State's just going to do it again, a third straight Mountain West title? Oh, that just, no way. I mean, Spencer Danielson can't do anything but win Mountain West championships in the eyes of the sports book. Boise's a minus 135 favorite to win the Mountain West. Minus 135. There is not a single other team in the country that's a minus favorite to win the conference. Think about it like this. The Big 12 is one of the most parity-driven leagues in the country, maybe in the history of the sport right now. Last year, the team picked to finish last, Arizona State, which was always ridiculous, but I didn't think they'd win the league. They were picked to finish last. They won the league. The betting favorites to win the Big 12 this year are plus 600. 600, and Boise State is minus 135. This is a situation where the Mountain West should be viewed as Boise against the field. I bet you could find a prop bet out there if you look really hard. If not, there will be one that shows up. Will it be Boise or will it be the field? Because that's the way that the odds makers see the league right now. They've got UNLV second, San Jose State third, and Fresno State fourth. I think San Diego State is a little low on this list at plus 3,200 personally, but hey, what the heck do I know? Decent amount. Anyway, so that's not the craziest thing with Boise State, though. And this goes back to the conversation I was having earlier on today's show, one-way conversation, I suppose, about the college football playoff. Because to make the playoff in the Group of Five ranks, you have got to elevate your profile with a big win, or have a profile that's already elevated so that you can be the highest ranked conference champion. So Boise to make the playoff this year is plus 194. That's insane. How insane, you ask? Allow me to explain. There is not a single other Group of Five team that has odds to make the playoff that are shorter than plus 820. That's Tulane over in the American with John Sumrall, who is a darn good football coach. And I wonder if part of this is an overreaction to Boise State making the playoff last year. They don't have Ashton Jeanty anymore. I feel good about their running back room. I know their quarterback, Maddox Madsen, is good. They lost a couple guys in the portal. They also kept a couple guys out of the portal that were potentially one in particular defensive lineman was going elsewhere, and then decided, no, I'm going to go back to Boise. Maybe he sees what's coming. But right off the bat, one of the underrated games, not on my radar, of course, because I love G5 football and talk about it consistently here on the show. When you're talking about teams that could find themselves in the college football playoff this year, Boise State opens on August 28th against South Florida. That game will be discussed on this program because the playoff implications are incredibly real. But let me read off this Boise State schedule to you. So they have South Florida on the road, by the way. They have to go all the way to Tampa. From Boise to Tampa. That's a long trip. Long trip on Thursday, August 28th. Eastern Washington is up next to win that game. At Air Force. That's not easy. Appalachian State in the Sun Belt. Really good Group of Five. They go at Notre Dame on October 4th. That's their big marquee game. Last year it was at Oregon in week 2. They darn near won. They go at Notre Dame. It's going to be an exciting environment. It's going to be a fun opportunity for Boise State. I'm not expecting they walk out of South Bend winners, but hey, worse teams than Boise State have won in that stadium before. You need look no further than last year when Northern Illinois beat the Irish, or maybe the year before, or was it the year before, when Marshall went in there and won, when Stanford went in there and won. So that's entirely possible. And then Mountain West play begins in earnest. New Mexico, UNLV, at Nevada, Fresno State, at San Diego State, Colorado State, at Utah State, and then potentially the Mountain West Championship game. Does that sound like a bunch of bottom feeders? Does that sound like you're missing the heavy hitters in the Mountain West? It sure doesn't to me. Kind of seems like you're playing all of the toughest teams. Air Force, high floor program. Colorado State has sneaky nice momentum in the Mountain West football landscape right now. San Diego State has got a massive transfer portal haul. It's Sean Lewis's second year. I think he's a pretty solid coach. They've got Fresno State on the schedule and UNLV with App State and South Florida. As far as Group of Five playoff schedules go, or just schedules in general, how much tougher can it get? I think right now the Mountain West is the best Group of Five conference in the country. It's either them or the American. And Boise is playing one of the teams that should be in the top half of the American in South Florida, and a team that should be in the top half of the Sun Belt in Appalachian State. I bring all this up to say, would Boise making the playoffs shock me? No. Do I think they are being overvalued to not just be that big of an outright favorite in the Mountain West? The next closest team is UNLV with their odds of plus 650. I think they're being overvalued with their odds to make the playoff compared to everybody else. There are paths out there that are easier to get into the college football playoff at the Group of Five level in Boise State. There are way easier paths to get out there. Now, are those teams as good as Boise State? Perhaps not. Do they have the pedigree with their coaching staff? You return a head coach and a quarterback that were just going toe-to-toe with Penn State, who were the runners-up in the Big Ten and who were also in the Final Four for the playoff a season ago. Yeah, I know that game finished 31-14. Go back and watch it. That game was perfectly competitive. Penn State pulled away a little bit at the end. That was not a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Does Boise have that same team? No, because they don't have Ashton Jeanty. Are they still going to have a really good team? Yeah, they should. But this path compared to last year, I just don't see that as being nearly as easy. Because remember, if you're going to make the playoff, you have to be one of the 5 highest ranked Group of 5 teams in the country, unless Boise's about to go undefeated. I mean, if they beat Notre Dame and go undefeated, they don't have to win that Mountain West championship game. They'll probably be back into the playoff. I don't think they're going to do that, though. To play all the heavy hitters in the Mountain West, to play both Appalachian State and South Florida, and have Notre Dame on the schedule, you've got to go 11-2 or better. You can lose Notre Dame. You can probably lose one other game to a Group of 5 team, and then you've got to win the conference championship. I'm just saying, if you're seeking value, I'm not against Boise being the favorite to make the playoff for a Group of 5 team, but plus 194, dropping down to plus 820, I think that's absurd. Just because Ashton Jeanty is a game-changing player, we all know that. Heisman finalist last year. Some think he should have been the winner. I would have voted for him if I had a vote, but alas, I do not. And of course, Travis Hunter won. But the thing with Boise is that path, man. I can't get past it. I cannot get past it. And to see the next closest team as being 700 points, if you're a FanDuel sort of guy, there's value out there.